Okay, so hello and welcome back to the Help Where Nerds
Help.
podcast. I'm Ethan.
Rob.
So yeah, this is actually a requested episode from Ashley AO on Instagram, which she requested a LGBTQ episode in comic books. Now, me and Rob do read comics, but we're arguably not the most knowledgeable on this specific topic.
No.
But we're gonna do our best to.
I know both my guys I love are both bisexual, pansexual.
We're gonna do our best to talk about it, and as this episode is around this, Happy Pride Month again. We did mention it in the last episode, but
Yay.
just thought we'd mention it here. I myself am bisexual, and
I'll probably class as pansexual.
so we do have that thing there. But like I said, we're not the most knowledgeable on this in comics themselves.
No. Plus, we're both in straight relationships.
Yeah, which is quite funny. But so if we go back in time, obviously we know that it being as open as it is nowadays is relatively a new thing.
The one I remember the most is Iceman because they made a big deal about it.
Yeah, it being such a big thing in the comics now is relatively new. However, there have always been subtle hints to it, like Chris Claremont, for example. His original plan was for Mystique to be Nightcrawler's father, but he couldn't do that because of the time period. Luckily, that has finally come to fruition in the comics, and we have our first lesbian couple that had their own kid biologically.
Yeah. Which is
Comics is weird, but that's cool.
I know my guy Constantine is bisexual.
Yeah.
I know my guy Gambit is bisexual. And then one of the obvious ones is Deadpool.
Wolverine, Bobby, like you said, Wiccan from, as in Wanda's kids.
Which is coming up soon, what we know of.
In the comics, he marries Hulkling, a Skrull with the power to like shapeshift into a really buff Skrull.
That could change.
I think they're gonna do Scar, yeah.
Which is fair enough.
They are currently the Kings of Space.
Obvious one for DC, Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy.
Yep. There's also, let's think, we're talking DC. You've got Batwoman, sorry.
Openly lesbian.
Yep. To the point where they kept that in the show, thank God.
Yep. One of them in Marvel, just introduced into America
Chavez.
America Chavez.
Yeah. Kitty Pryde.
Is it?
Yeah. In a specific future, it's implied, I think she marries Magic, as in Colossus's sister. But she currently got a girlfriend who's a tattoo artist.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so. Then it's implied in the new Hickman run of X-Men that Scott, Wolverine, and Jean are all a throuple.
Won't shock me. We're getting the authorities for DC.
Yep.
Apollo is apparently.
Yeah, Apollo and Midnighter.
Yeah.
They're husbands.
That's kind of cool.
So, they're also, what do you call it? Basically, Batman and Superman. If Batman and Superman were gay for each other, which, let's face it, they probably are. They just keep it on the down low. The way that those two act together
would not surprise me. One that came in Guardians 3 for Lavelle.
But we know that, like, all of this and it being censored and being hidden, it actually stems back to Frederick Wertham, a psychologist in the early 1900s who disliked comic books and thought that they were bad for people. So wrote a book called, I believe it's The Corruption of the Innocent. which ended up creating the dreaded Comics Code Authority, which banned excessive violence, drug use, and anything of a homosexual nature
Which
in
is stupid.
comic books. And one of the case studies he used for his book was that Batman and Robin, even though Batman is supposed to be Robin's adopted father, sharing a bed in one comic panel, it was too gay. That Batman and Robin seemed to be gay. And that is why we got Batwoman and Batgirl in the first place. To show off the fact that Batman and Robin are not gay.
Father and a son can share a bed.
Yeah, especially if that kid saw his family murdered in front of his eyes and probably has nightmares about it every single bloody night. But hey ho. At least we got Batgirl out of it.
Batgirl's cool. Batwoman's cool.
I actually like the fact that they introduced Batwoman to peacify the mob and Frederick Wortham, only to later reveal she's gay.
Yes.
That I think that's absolutely hilarious of them to do that, because it's like a massive fuck you to that bigot.
The thing is, she's always quite obviously being gay.
But they weren't allowed to put it actually in writing, which sucks. Obviously, we've got the fact that the X-Men are largely, well, technically they're a group for all oppressed minorities, but in more recent years have become an allegory for LGBTQIA plus.
I believe that was one of the points.
It was. Obviously, they've been
Stanley's always been for it.
They've been used as allegories for the disabled, for black people during the civil rights movement, and that's why you get the comparison between Martin Luther King and Charles Xavier and Malcolm X and Magneto. But it has moved to be more in line with the queer struggle.
I believe Black Panther. Stanley made Black Panther to screw you to the races.
Yeah. So, especially when you look at like X-Men 97, for example, check out last week's episode if you want to see what our thoughts were on that.
Thoughts, mumbling, all of the above.
Yeah. But basically, when you look at the Genosha scene and the parade, doesn't it give you pride?
Yep.
Especially all the colours on Genosha. That definitely gave me Pride vibes, which was awesome.
Plus, come on. Magneto and Charles just need a shag already.
When the Charles went into Magneto's head in the final episode, and he got right up to him, I was like, oh my god, he's gonna kiss him. And then he didn't, and I was really disappointed.
Yeah.
I was so disappointed. I do like the take from people where they say that Charles and Magneto just look like lovers that fell out over ideology.
Basically, that's what they are.
Yeah, it's great. But then you, obviously, Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn are some of the most famous.
Yep.
And
Constantine is openly bisexual.
Constantine will shag anything that walks.
Yeah.
Including demons.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame him. Half of the demons he meets in his books are hot, but...
Yeah.
Just saying.
They drop them all just for Santana.
Well, yeah. One of my favourite allegories when it comes to LGBTQ and the X-Men specifically is X2, X-Men United, when Bobby goes home and he tells his parents he's a mutant. And his mum's response is, have you tried not being a mutant? Like, that was clearly a dig at parents that turn around to their queer
you-
kids
Can
and turn
can
and
you
go,
just not be?
can you not be? Well,
Can-
no, that's
can-
how we were born.
Can you not be straight? Have we had a trans mutant yet?
Not in so many words, I don't think. We've had gender fluid ones.
I don't think
we've had a More- trans Morph and Mystique are the most notable. But I'm not, off the top of my head, I don't know of a mutant that outright changed their sex. I tell you what I did like, and this is going off topic from comics but still in superhero media. Gen V.
Yes.
With, I forget their,
So I can swap between boy and girl.
yes, I forget their name.
I do.
I liked their dynamic, and I also liked the fact that Marie, the main character, fell for the boy persona, but wasn't put off when she woke up next to the girl either.
Yeah, I love that.
So,
Apparently there is one called Jessica Drake.
hmm.
There's not much about it. I think she's just an off the cuff, different reality one.
In the background mutant. I got it wrong, sorry. I said magic, but I was wrong. It's not magic that Kitty Pryde ends up with. It's Rachel Summers.
Oh God, even better.
So,
Talking about Kitty Pryde and transgender people, if they did bring any of them back, we got the fairly obvious one here. Mr. Elliot Page.
yeah, as... What would you...
Kit.
Okay, so...
Kit Pryde.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If they did do that and they made Kitty Pryde LGBTQ transgender in the live actions, what would you name Kitty Pryde?
Just Kit.
Because the superhero name doesn't even have to change. Shadowcat is non-gendered.
Yeah.
Like, there are certain names that probably don't work. Like Marvel Girl. You can't be called Marvel Girl if you change to a boy. You could change it to Marvel Boy, but...
There isn't a Marvel boy law.
Yeah. But, oh, isn't Quentin Quire also LGBT?
I believe so, yeah.
Kid Omega.
I believe so.
See, this is what I'm saying. Like, look at how many mutants we just listed.
They're always out there.
I'm just saying, like, look at how many mutants we listed that are part of the community. Like, that is a big thing. It definitely the way that the X-Men are portrayed now. And can I just say, this is slightly off topic, but it still makes me laugh that in the Hickman era of X-Men, one of the 3 rules on Krakoa was make more mutants. They basically wrote a commandment that was shag.
Yep. Shag and enjoy.
They became a hippie community.
Yep.
Their literal laws were respect Krakoa and its land, don't harm humans, fuck a lot.
Yep. For me, though, in reality, coming out of the comics for a bit, in reality, for me, I'm for anyone can be who they want.
Yeah.
All I want is people to be happy. And if that's being gay, fine. Bi, fine. Trans, fine. But at the end of the day, you need to do what you need to do to be happy. And you can't let other people's thoughts and feelings stop you. Because all you're going to do is get sad and get into depression, as we talked about a few weeks ago with mental health.
Yeah.
Always protect your own mental health. And even though you may think there's nobody out there to talk to, there'll always be somewhere wrong for you to talk to.
Always.
Always.
Sorry, I felt like Snape then.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And if
just
that's
'cause
falling
we're
into a
both-
character, do it.
Just because we've brought up Harry Potter, well, I brought up Harry Potter. I do like the fact that in Hogwarts Legacy, there was a trans character
Yes.
in the bar.
Yes.
Whether you agree with what J.K. Rowling's saying or not, it did feel like a fuck you
It was basically a fuck you.
to her viewers. So,
At the end of the day, I don't like her views.
I like her work. I don't like her views.
Do I think she should be involved in the series? Of course. It's her work at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Do I like her views? No, they're wrong.
Yeah, I agree. At the end of the day, to exclude her from her own work would be stealing, because it's hers. But at the same time, she's a bigot when it comes to trans rights.
It annoys me when people try and say stuff about against trans rights, because they always go, well, I want to protect my kid in the bathroom. They're thinking about the 1% of idiots who are going to do it. And yes, I know they're out there, but you can't do that.
So I'm disabled, as I've said on this podcast before. I've always used multi-gender bathrooms. Always, because that's just how disability bathrooms work. Yeah, it's slightly different because you don't go in there at the exact same time. But at the end of the day, to me, there's no difference.
At the end of the day, 99% of the people going into the bathroom, if you're a trans girl or trans guy going into the bathroom, they're going in for the exact same reason you are, to use the bathroom. I'm not doubting there will be some idiots out there, but that's like everything.
My brother's trans, and he was uncomfortable when we went to the cinema once, saying, where do I go? Because he needed the toilet.
I'd quite happily go to the boys' bathroom with him.
I just opened the disabled toilet, and he said, I'm not disabled. And I went, it's a unisex bathroom, use it. And if anybody says anything, I'm sat here in my wheelchair. I opened the door.
I'd be quite proud to walk into the boys' bathroom with him.
Well, I would, but I don't use that bathroom. So.
Yeah.
I just gave him the one that I use. Because at the end of the day, a person is a person regardless of how they identify.
Don't say stuff. Yes, if you don't believe in it, fair enough. But don't say harmful stuff just because you want to. Because you've got to remember, at the end of the day, that is a person you're saying it to at the end of the day.
And
words hurt.
Anyone that wants to use religion in this argument, I will just say that the Bible says God made us in his image. And if that means that some people aren't the right gender, then it doesn't mean God made a mistake. It means God just didn't realize when he made them that
God put them there to fight that battle because he believes that they could.
Yeah.
That's coming from somebody who doesn't believe in God.
That's my beliefs. God doesn't give us anything we can't handle. And at the end of the day, sometimes it happens where, for no fault of anybody, the hormones that create children get it wrong. The brain is designed to be male, whereas the body isn't. Or vice versa.
Going on, God doesn't give us anything we can't handle. On a jokey benefit, could he take some away from me, please?
I wish. I've asked. I still can't walk properly, so
I'd love bigger lungs, joints that don't pop out, and not to be mentally buggered. Just take one.
Snap. Not the lungs. I've got okay lungs, but I have really bad cramp. I'm mentally buggered. I waddle like a penguin to the point where my girlfriend's affectionate name for me is Penguin. I think it's mean, but hey ho.
I got Chloe Chipmunk. Because she's small and adorable. But if you piss her off, God, you don't want to piss her off.
So yeah.
Back to the point. At the end of the day, you are who you are.
Yep.
Love yourself. Ignore the idiots. And if you are one of the idiots, think about what you're saying before you say it.
And if you've thought about it and still think you're right, I don't think we're the podcast for you.
No.
I don't want to push away an audience, especially because we're so new. But at the same time, we're an inclusive space. We're both part of the community and both disabled. We've already experienced our own prejudices.
And plus, if Wolverine was here, he would probably stab you in the bum.
Yeah. That's the one
If
person I wouldn't want a prostate exam from.
True. If Deadpool were here, he'd probably poke his large sword up your bum.
And we're not talking about the katana.
I was. But yes, that's well.
Just imagine Ryan Reynolds, dude. Do you really think he's talking about the katana if he whispered that in your ear?
Have you seen this scene when they're trying to eat in the diner? Can you put your mask back on? It's hard to eat with it on. And Wolverine goes, hard to eat with it off. Deadpool and Wolverine, that's going to be a fun movie.
It's going to be great. And that is going to be so camp. It's going to be great.
Oh, God, yeah.
And see, this how we're on LGBTQ. I know we said we weren't going to talk about Doctor Who until the end of the season, which is literally in 2 weeks.
The biggest complaint about the latest episode is people trying to get around the fact it's two men kissing. Like going, I don't like it. Doctor Who keeps kissing people. Doctor Who doesn't kiss. He's been kissing people for years. Oops. But is the new Doctor slightly more camper than usual? Yes. But he's always been camp.
Is he?
He's more open about it.
He's more open about it, but is he?
Ncuti's Doctor reminds me of David Tennant and Matt Smith. Have their scripts been to Russell's normal level? No. But have they been terrible? No.
I mean, we'll get more into this later, but I brought it up because of Rogue.
Yeah, Rogue.
The
Doctor kissing.
I'm sorry, it's not just the kiss. That Kylie scene. That was freaking awesome. I loved the fact that Ncuti looked at him with so much sass and was like, "Your loving is all I think about." That was so cool. And I'm sorry, Rogue and the Doctor's kiss is not the first time the Doctor has kissed a man.
No, John Barrowman kissed David Tennant.
Yeah. And Christopher Eccleston.
Yeah.
We've had a lesbian couple in Doctor Who. Madame Vastra and her assistant.
I love them too. I really hope they come back.
I want to see them again. They're awesome. We've got, what do you call it? You know, Jack is openly flirting with anything that walks. And in Torchwood is got a boyfriend. So, anyone that thinks Doctor Who hasn't always been an ally to the LGBTQ community, go fuck yourself.
He's always been camp.
Because it's always been there. John Pertwee is probably one of the most camp doctors. And, you know, the villain is coming from his era, I think. Cause
it's a rumour.
They said that, what do you call it?
One of his episodes is one to watch before.
One of his episodes is one to watch. It's first episode. It's his first episode.
It's a heavy rumour that his son is coming into play here.
And also, they said the villain of this series is 70 years in the is like 50 years in the making, sorry. Doctor Who was 60 years old. So...
Quick note. Russell Lee Grant finally been in Doctor Who as the Doctor.
Uh-huh.
That was a lovely slipping for the 40th anniversary.
Wonder where he fits in the timeline, but...
Yeah, but it's a lovely slip.
It is. It's probably pre-Hartnell.
Probably.
Like The Fugitive.
Anyway, is that it?
I think that's it. But, basically, I know we didn't really talk about too much on it, but we did preface the beginning of this episode with we're not the most knowledgeable.
Just remember to love yourself. Sod anyone who's a twat to you. And just be yourself.
And always remember, Mystique is Nightcrawler's father.
Help.
Goodbye.